Hi, everyone. Welcome to our talk. We'll be discussing an ESM journey, how one company implemented complex marketing processes in Jira. Let's get started with some intros. I'm Ian Cooperman, Strategic Account Manager at ISOS Technology. And joining me today is a very special client of ours, Mitch Cardwell. He's the VP of Brand Identity and Systems. Hi, Mitch. Welcome.
Hey, Ian. Good to see you. Great to be here.
So first, I want to tell you a little bit about ISOS Technology. ISOS is a Atlassian Platinum and Enterprise Solutions partner. We've been named Partner of the Year twice in the ITSM category, both in 2017 and in 2020. We've helped hundreds of organizations implement ITSM, scale agile, migrate to cloud, and trainings, much more. Our passion is helping companies use their Atlassian tools more efficiently and effectively and get the most out of their technology investment. So Mitch, can you tell us a little bit about CBS and what CBS Marketing Group does?
Sure, Ian. CBS is a major American television network. We're part of a larger parent company, which is just recently rebranded itself to Paramount. And I work in the CBS Marketing Group. We're a full service marketing, advertising, and media organization. And we're responsible for the strategic and creative aspects of marketing for CBS's original content in the news, sports, and entertainment vertical. Every year, we produce thousands of campaigns for television, digital, social, outdoor, and other media. And each one of those individual promotional campaigns requires a lot of detailed labor. It's labor intensive, and there are a multitude of tasks around that stuff, generating scripts, assigning talent, managing voiceover, licensing music, and a lot of that.
Yeah, and that process that you just talked about, very complex, a lot of moving parts, a lot of teams. I was pretty surprised when starting to work with you on just what it takes to get a promotion online and get it digitized and put up on air. And so, let's talk about the promotional spot. So, we started working together. You came to us, and mentioned that you had outgrown your legacy system, things you guys have been using for 2 decades, and you've been tracking your promotional spots in there and needed a modern solution to handle the increased demand and speed up the production process. So give us some detail around that transition.
Yeah, we were experiencing challenges around our homegrown system. It had been built on .NET, which I even had to, even when we were evaluating it, I had to look it up to remember what it was. It had not been updated in a long time. It was effectively end of life. The limits of how it was configured and worked gave us a real lack of visibility into where our promos were in their life cycle. And it was very hard for the teams to collaborate across with the other teams and with our content partners because the .NET application was a closed system. Because it wasn't fully integrated, that resulted in a lot of other project management systems sort of spawning up organically. And so a lot of people were starting to work in very different ways and not tied into the .NET application.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing about that transition over to using a different tooling, I mean, that's a new approach, that's a change, right? And so, what made this work really well is that we had someone like you that is more of I call you a visionary all the time, but you were a visionary and finding new approaches, finding new ways to do things, and trying to figure out ways to streamline your teams, and eventually, as this thing is growing, it's helping to streamline the entire organization. So a lot of complex workflows, a lot of things that we had to work through to try to maximize productivity. And again, just being a real champion of thinking, on the CBS marketing side, helped the discussion and the engagement with you go really well.
Yeah, it was, I appreciate the kind words. And we were already internally doing a lot of thinking on this topic. And when we discovered the Atlassian tool suite and then ISOS, it was great for us to start to collaborate and work together and look at how things work in the tools, how agile methodologies are used, and then try to figure out how. And that was what was so great about it, is that you and I and the teams that we were together with, we were able to look at how we work and talk through that in plain English, and then look at agile methodology and look at what works where in the Atlassian tool set, and figure out where the synergies were and where the similar constructs were. And we've used this example a lot, but I like to talk about sprinting. As I was studying up on this and we were looking through the methodologies, I remember coming to you one day and saying, hey, just for the audience to understand, every day in a post-production environment, you have what's called the production day. And that's, you look in the morning at what you have to make, and then you start the production day. And then when you get to the end of the production day, you wrap that day up and look at how it went, and then repeat the process again the next day. That's a sprint. And it's a sprint that takes place in 12 to 18 hours. And so you find yourself, and so I remember going to you and going, hey, isn't this a sprint? And you were like, no, a sprint's 2 weeks or a week, or whatever a sprint normally is. And I was like, well, no, the parallels here are remarkable, and we can make this work. And and then you opened up to it, and then we went off and explored it, and now we sprint every day, and we have a backlog of all the incoming marketing stuff we're going to make, and we groom that backlog to plan out the next 2 weeks worth of sprints, each one of those representing a single day. You can see the backlog here, which is empty, and the active sprint, which is running today. And we're on the day, the day that we screenshot this, we produced 109 promos, and tomorrow we'll be doing 42. So our production managers very quickly turned into project managers managing sprints and backlogs. And they were taken aback by it, and you were skeptical of it. And I was like, what the heck are we doing? And it ended up working, and now it's common for us.
Yeah, I remember that conversation very vividly. That was a couple of years back. And I remember I was just sitting on the call for like half an hour, just kind of staring at each other like, can it? I don't know, maybe. And it ended up working, and that's the best part of it. Let's talk about like the beginning of this whole thing. So when we start these engagements with our clients, we typically like to have a discovery. We want to explore and understand really not so much what you're looking for out of the tool, but what is the pain points? Like, what are the challenges that you're running into? And in your case, in your team's case, there's a lot of challenges. And so, finding unique, complex, finding unique custom ways to support this implementation was important for both sides. And so, things that we looked at is obviously using Jira software, taking advantage of the Jira boards that we just saw in Jira software. And the crazy part of that screenshot, it doesn't provide you the understanding and the full scope of what you guys are doing. I mean, we have multiple boards that are tied in together within Jira software for that production lifecycle. And there's different teams working on different boards, but they're all working on the same tickets as they flow through the lifecycle. And so, being able to use Jira software's functionality to bring in those Jira boards and be able to support teams that are they're working together, but they have their own process. And so we were able to create sub-processes. And then once we got to that point, we said, what? There needs to be some sort of intake. We have to be able to intake things. I mean, we had these integrations with, some of your third-party tools that you guys are using. But what we were able to do is implement Jira Service Management. And that was really useful for the non-Jira users, right? The folks that are sitting outside of Jira, they don't really care to learn Jira. And to be honest, we didn't really want to train them, right? We want them to be able to easily submit requests to the production team and allow the production team to run through it, all while providing that feedback to the customer, internal customer that submitted the request. So once we had these solutions in place, what was the impact on your team? I'm interested to hear.
Yeah, it's I love that we just showed the service desk there as part of our service management package, because that was probably one of the biggest game changers in terms of triaging the hundreds and hundreds of requests that we get weekly that are random one-offs that don't fit into the workflow. Just the codifying of all of our workflows, which was one of the most detailed things that you and I did when we worked on this project, was such a game changer. We've done a lot. One of the things that we couldn't do was we couldn't measure. Our old systems had no measurement. And so I couldn't even answer that question to you if we weren't using the Atlassian tool set. We've done some research over the last couple of years, and we believe this has managed about a 30% increase in our ability to produce campaign spots without adding any staff. I can't even begin to tell you what an impact the pandemic had on that. So that, the numbers aren't even measurable because we went out the door. We were all on-prem in a single building with all of our hardware, and now we're spread out almost across the world and still getting our work done. We had a 90% reduction in requests coming in by email. They almost all flow through service management now, and that little outlier bit that gets dumped right into service management through an email channel. It's enhanced our governance, music tracking, and tracking of voiceovers is a huge thing in the entertainment industry, obviously, because we have to make sure everybody gets paid. So the deployment of Jira to track all of our music licensing and track all of our VO announcement processes has definitely helped us enhance governance. We now have very granular visibility into the life cycle and step, where in the process everything we do is. Again, that used to be a phone call because we had exactly 2 workflow states, as you well know, in the old system, and now we have a workflow for every piece of creative we put through the process. And then, as I mentioned at the beginning, the granular reporting. We pull this data out. Insight is helping us enhance that now, and then we are getting on board with the analytics tools that Atlassian is moving into. We are going to be all in on that to be able to measure performance and throughput and to identify bottlenecks and make us more efficient.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a great story. So I'd like to go back to the pandemic. When 2020 hit, we were finishing the implementation of Jira software. We hadn't touched Jira Service Management at that point, but it really, I think it was around April timeframe. We had just completed it, and then right then, boom, everything hits, pandemic, and everyone goes remote. And I think I remember you saying, if we didn't have Jira software implemented and this whole process put into Jira, we wouldn't be able to produce anything. We wouldn't be able to push anything live.
Yeah, I don't think anybody that's been involved in this process or works at CBS Marketing now would not tell you that this saved us during the pandemic.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously you want to hear those. Those are the touchy-feely things. But even after the pandemic, or we're hopefully after it, we've still been able to continue using the tool. We're still able to scale it. And I think one of the things, just as I remember going back, the biggest thing that you came to us with is, hey, look, you had a good understanding of the tools. You almost didn't need us. You just needed a little bit of consulting and expertise and then someone to go in and do it. But you had the vision, you understood the tooling. But the biggest thing that you talked about was the adoption. We're talking about people, in these organizations who have been there for a long period of time. They're used to the same thing. And, I've been at ISOs for 3 years now, and I'm already kind of pushing up against some change stuff that's happening. I'm like, well, I don't want to change. That's a normal thing. We're humans. That's just how we roll. But that was the tough part of this, is pulling people out of a tool that they've been using for 2 decades and putting them into this, new pretty thing. And a lot of pushback, ensued. And I think one of the biggest things that, we were able to do and work with you on is finding those little, they were nice to haves, but they were really must-haves to get the adoption. But the little features that we plugged into the instance to allow people to say ooh and aw whenever they started to look at it, started to test it out. So I think one of the biggest things was that video embed, and I don't know if we have a screenshot of that.
Yeah, the video embed was a big one. So for those of you that are looking at the slide, what you see in the lower right-hand corner is our digital asset management system integrated into our Jira Data Center install. And so when we complete a spot, and you can see the status here is set to published, our Jira instance and our DAM link up and exchange the video back and forth with each other. So, or rather the video gets embedded into the Jira. There's a URL which is available, and then the window is right there. This has been what for us inside our marketing team has been the holy grail about, there was always, when we talked about how we were going to replace our old system, there was always this, wouldn't it be neat if we could see the video inside the project management system, you know? And when we started the project, we weren't even absolutely certain that it, you know, it was a want, but not a, you know, but a tech team at ISOS went off and solved the problem and embedded it into the system. And now it's just routine to us and we could not function without it.
Yeah.
That's a great example of extensibility that goes far beyond the core aspect of what Jira does. That is a win for us. And, you know, as we're going to talk about in a moment, we're moving into the cloud, and that functionality has already been installed in our cloud system as we're working toward that.
Yeah, very, very customizable. I mean, you have a solid foundation at Jira software, and then being able just to add your own little custom features to it that really make people excited about using the tool. And I remember that one being a big one. Yeah, so everything's working great, right? We're in data center, everyone's humming, but then as an organization, I think you guys decided to move to cloud, as you said. So
yeah, no, of course we couldn't stop. So
yeah, got to keep going.
Yeah, Atlassian came to us probably last year now, and told us that enterprise cloud was coming, which addressed some of the issues that had led us to data center. I wouldn't call them issues. It was just cautiousness on our part and a sense of where we needed to get the point of what we were doing. We got our feet wet in data center, saw how it worked, and then you start looking to the cloud product, knowing what you need to do from a security point of view and from a control point of view. And when we saw that enterprise cloud was ready, we initiated a conversation up at the corporate level of Paramount, and ISOS has come along with us for that. And I'm happy to say that we've begun an initiative to, I believe CBS Marketing will be the first tenant for Paramount inside the Atlassian Enterprise Cloud.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I think a lot of people that listen to this, I'm assuming they've probably heard that, you know, Atlassian is sunsetting server by now. If you haven't and you're on server, that might be a problem. Might need to look into it. So there's a lot of people transitioning over to cloud, a lot of organizations transitioning. And so I think to hear of, and we're not talking about a small instance. You guys have been around for a few years, but we're talking about daily sprints earlier. You guys are, hundreds of tickets just on the production side every single day. You guys have stacked up on the total issue count, right? We've gone through that during our migration discussions. Mm-hmm. And so this isn't by any means a simple migration. It's very complex, but the fact that we're able to move a lot of the features that we had to build out that were, are pretty custom to the cloud, speaks volumes to the adaptability of cloud, and also the ability as a partner and working with you on getting that moved over. So yeah, we obviously like the idea of CBS and really anyone moving to cloud simply because of the features and functionality that are present there. It takes a little while for those to get down to data center, and the fact that we have enterprise cloud, that we can have multiple tenants, multiple sites inside a cloud, make it really useful for really large organizations like yours. So I want to talk about the promo tracking process. That whole process that we've kind of talked through, that's a big undertaking. And so obviously we need to phase that out and really understand the best way to manage this and scale it going forward. And so one of the things that we've looked at and have been able to do in preparation for getting you guys over to cloud, but also maintaining, really minimizing a lot of the custom stuff we've done. Because back when we were doing the custom stuff, there were things, features, and functionality that weren't really ready for CBS marketing and what you guys were looking for. Now it is. So one of the things we've done is implemented Insight Asset Management. That's on your data center instance right now. And we're like you said, we're in the process of getting that moved over to cloud. Redesigning the entire process of the promo tracking process, the complexities and the customizations, again, trying to strip those out as much as possible, because really the idea here is We like project stuff. I mean, obviously we like supporting our customers. We have managed services there to support that, but we really want to focus on evolving things with you guys and helping you scale and grow. And then the managed services side is more of a support arm, right? It's to make sure, maintaining the instance, thinking about, small near future type things, little mini projects here and there. Really wanted to focus on reducing the managed services and increasing, the amount of time spent on actually building out, more cool features. So we have to make those replacements. And so Insight is one of them. When we go to cloud, we have to take advantage of, because we have all those customizations, take advantage of the Forge, of being able to allow us to build custom apps that we can plug into your instance. And then obviously you're a big fan of automation for Jira. So are we, and we've that's pretty much core to what we've built inside of your instance for managing the production process.
Yeah, we're really excited about Insight. I think that's probably the other ones are sort of a little bit more under the hood, but we have a lot of databases floating around in our various platforms, and they weren't connected to Jira. And so to be able to get that all into a single place and connected to our Jira, we view that as a big win about simplifying what's going on under the hood. And of course, the other parts about cloud, it goes without saying, no downtime for upgrades. Yeah. We don't have to worry about our staff that we have to keep on hand to manage the instance running in our cloud environment. It's less vulnerable. We're going to have a lighter load for system administration, and that's going to be a big win.
Yes. Yeah. System admin, like I was saying earlier, system admins internally, but also from our side, right? Just finding ways to redesign and take advantage of cloud and reduce the footprint of ISOs and really any contractor that you guys need. Really, that's one of the great things about cloud is it's continuing to evolve into a more simplified solution that almost anyone can implement. But all these little custom stuff, we just need to work through getting those as a part of the out of the box. Just wanting to kind of pivot here a little bit if we can. So we talked about Jira software, implementing that, and then Jira service management, and then talk through what Insight is going to be doing for us, and then this eventual move to cloud. Is there anything else that you guys are that's on the forefront thinking through? I mean, we're talking about Atlassian Analytics, that hopefully really cool feature that's going to be coming out soon to support. Anything else that you might want to share with our viewers?
Yeah, no, I definitely, analytics is very exciting for us because we want to make that easier. Having to pull all that out and put it into Tableau, while fun, is not necessarily fun. I'm looking forward to a better Confluence. Better. I think we'll see a much better uptake of use of we use Confluence quite a lot now, but there are things about it that are a little frustrating on the data center side of things, as we all know. The mobile side of things is going to get a lot sweeter in the cloud, and then just being on a better upgrade track. I think is going to be, but with a guardrail in place, as we all know, because that's a feature of, we get a sandbox to test releases before we push them live into our own cloud environment. That's all real exciting to us. And we're also looking forward to working to build better service desks, and cloud service management has got a lot of features that we're anxious to dig into.
Yeah, we haven't even started taking advantage of potential things like the service catalogs and even Opsgenie. From the technical side, having like ITSM fully baked in would be a pretty cool near future goal.
Yeah, and Slack integration.
Yes.
As we are, for our viewers, we're in the process now, and so some of our stuff is happening in the new instance and some in the old, and just seeing the enhanced power of what you can do inside Slack without ever having to even go into the Jira environment is just awesome. A lot of us are really looking forward to that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of great information, Mitch. I truly appreciate you being here, on this, and we appreciate everyone's time here. For those of you that have found this session super interesting, and want, a little more information, check out our downloadable CBS case study. There's a lot of great information here. A lot of the information we've been talking about, there's so much to expound there. And so that case study is great to look at. And we also have a white paper on just transitioning from ITSM to ESM. So take a look at that. Again, thank you, Mitch, for joining us, and thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. And big thanks to ISOs, who are an amazing partner, and huge thanks to obviously to Atlassian for an amazing product and amazing people that are helping us really, really work better. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Enjoy the rest of Team 22.